Fun. We are now live.
We're good?
We are good.
Okay. So with that, I will call this special meeting of the Altadena Library District Board of Trustees to order at 5:04 p.m. As always, we will start with the land acknowledgement. Altadena Library District acknowledges its presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded land of the Gabrielino Tonga peoples. Altadena is located on the stolen homelands of the Ha'amonga tribal band. The traditional territory of the Gabrielino Tonga is referred to as Tonga Ngar, which includes the areas currently known as Los Angeles County, Riverside County, West San Bernardino County, parts of Orange County, as well as the 4 southern Channel Islands. Entities such as the U.S. government and non-native settlers have subjected the Gabrielino Tonga peoples to historic and continuing injustices, including genocide, forced displacement, and cultural and linguistic racial. Altadena Library commits to learning, educating, and informing its staff and residents of present-day Altadena about the rich histories, vibrant communities, culture of the Gabrielino Tonga people, present and past, for collection development, resources, and program offerings. So with that, I will do a roll call. Trustee Clark.
Here.
Trustee Lim.
Here.
Trustee Andrews. Here. And myself is here. We have Trustee Wilkerson was not able to attend tonight. I doubt we have any reordering of agenda items. So can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded. Are we still, since we're in person, are we still doing
You
the
don't have to.
actual?
You don't
Okay,
have to do a roll
cool.
call if you don't feel like it.
So with the agenda being adopted, do we have any public comments?
No public comment.
Okay. And then we have one item of new business.
Sorry, point of order. I'm reading back on. We don't have to do a roll call vote, but we do have to like vote on it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So all those in favor of adopting the agenda as laid out?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, so it's a unanimous vote. Sorry about that, changing things up. So on to our new business. So we have a resolution regarding the special taxes. So I don't, who's gonna talk to, is this your lucky day, Nikki?
I think I'm actually gonna turn it over to Sarah Mayers from NBS, who is with us virtually. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, good evening, board and district staff. We are bringing the rate table back to you at this time to approve a slightly different rate than has been approved in the past. Of course, your annual process is to review the budget for the year or annual special tax requirement. And we calculate the rates based on the property data that we receive. And so you've actually seen this twice already this year, once prior to the July county data being available. And again, after that data was available with a very slight change. And we are here tonight to bring back one additional change related to the budget as a whole. The property data has not changed since we had these rates approved in July, but there was a budgetary change, and that difference is that we need to collect an amount for anticipated delinquencies as part of the annual budget. And that is related to the fact that well, not 100% of parcels pay their property tax bills, which the special tax is included on. And so for that reason, there is, you're not collecting 100% of what you place on the tax roll to cover your principal and interest for your debt and your administrative costs. And so the rate and method of apportionment for the CFD includes a provision that you can add a dollar amount for anticipated delinquencies to be included in that budget, which is what we've done. And in this case, because last year was the first levy, there weren't anticipated delinquencies. And so we're collecting the actual delinquencies from last year, as well as anticipating what delinquencies will be for the 23-24 fiscal year, so that when you get to the end of this fiscal year, you'll have sufficient funds to pay the next debt service payment. So that's the change that's included here. The rates have not changed significantly. They're going for single family residential from 0.049 to 0.050 with a few more decimal places. So not obviously a huge uptick for any individual property owner, but this will allow you to ensure that you have sufficient funds based on the prior year delinquency rate to pay your debt service into the future. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Hi, Sarah. Got a couple of questions. I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So the 17 grand and change that we're transferring from the general fund to cover, that's the delinquency, right, for the past year?
Correct. That's basically the delinquency amount from the 22-23 fiscal year.
Okay, and so is the situation that we had not built in any delinquency, or we had built in an insufficient delinquency?
No delinquency amount had been included in the budget.
Okay, so going forward now, that's the projection we're making, and so we're including basically the leftover from last year and what we anticipate this year. Maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. Do we have any reason to believe that delinquency for 2022-23 was substantially higher or lower than regular years? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is there a reason to budget higher or to think that that was an atypical year for any reason?
No, there's no reason to believe that that's an atypical year. We did, just to be slightly more conservative, we did budget 25,000 for the delinquency amount for 23-24 to give you a little bit more cushion, without again, just being mindful that we don't want to increase anyone's taxes too much as a result of this calculation. And should you over collect, should you be in a situation where you have zero delinquencies or your delinquency rate is somehow significantly less, you can also use any over collection in one year as a credit to the levy the following year. So you can kind of true that up if you end up with a slight over collection.
You have anticipated my next question, which is what if everybody pays their property taxes next year? So
then you
that's
have
great.
a big party and
Yeah.
celebrate that everyone in your community is paying their property taxes. But yeah, you can do that credit.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's great.
Other trustees, questions or comments?
I have a question, sir, and that would be, I think we need to build this into our timing for next year then, right? In terms of, so that we don't have to come back and forth with these special meetings. We'll have a good solid number at, whenever that day is, to be able to vote on once a day. Okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of a learning thing for us, it sounds like.
Yeah, and we will be building in the anticipated delinquencies when we bring that cost recovery to you next year. And to the extent we have to make a change because we received that parcel data, we may still have to come back to you twice, depending on what that looks like. Because we know that you prefer to approve the budget and the rates before we have that July data in hand. And it's always a little hard to know when we get that data from the county. So that could be a reason you see this twice, but you should not see it a third time again.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then, Catalina, this might be more of a question for you, but I don't know if it would make sense when we approve the calendar in December to maybe shift these meetings to like a prior month. So that if we do have to do a second meet, because a lot of the reason we had to do a special meeting was because of the timing with getting stuff to the county, right? That's why we couldn't wait until the regular scheduled meeting.
Unfortunately, the data comes out too close to the July meeting to take it in July. So that's like, we have a couple weeks to file with the county, which is why we had to have the meeting on July 31st.
Okay.
Sarah, I am kind of curious, like last year when we went through this, we didn't think the numbers would be significantly different. So they were that much different to where we had to refile. Or do you have access to that data? Was it square footage numbers? I can't imagine there was that big of an increase in parcels.
I would have to look at last year again to see, you know, what the differential was, you know, between the initial numbers last year and the final numbers. And I'm not sure if it's, you know, perhaps the accessory dwelling units, of course, are, you know, a hot topic right now. I don't know if that's what's kind of coming in and increasing some of the building square footage. If people are doing, say, garage conversions or that kind of thing into an ADU, that would add square feet. So those things I think are happening, but not sure exactly. I can look and research that for you though.
It's helpful to know what that delta is, you know.
And I think next year, if we go through the process, we have to come back again in July. It's probably gonna be my recommendation that we just do it in July. You know,
Just have a special meeting.
just plan on having a special meeting with the CFD ahead of
Yeah.
that. Because otherwise, why do it twice and bring it through you guys multiple times when the numbers are gonna maybe predictably change?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Further questions or comments? Okay, with that, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve resolution 2023-07.
And can I get a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's unanimous, minus trustee Wilkerson. Thank you. Any announcements or proposed future agenda items?
I will just say, we have the meeting coming up on Monday. We're feverishly working to put the agenda package together. It's a lot, to be honest. It's gonna be a long meeting, I think. I'm still waiting on open enrollment data, so we probably won't publish till Thursday, just a warning to everyone. We are having closed session, just to let the board know. The plan is to do that at 4:30. We don't think it's gonna take as long as in the past. But just wanted to get that on all your radars. That will start at 4:30 on Monday.
Okay.
Update everyone's calendar tonight.
All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Right, and so we are adjourned at 5:16 PM, or 17. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sarah.
Sarah.
Thank you all.